Hey, it's Berzinsky for Beardbrand Alliance. You have finally made it. You have worked those 45 years, and you are now ready for retirement. And you have never had a beard. I want to talk to you today about growing a beard, a retirement beard. All you need to know. Think of this as a 101. Stay tuned. Finally made it to retirement, and I said that you have probably never had a beard. I think it might be my generation if you are a latter millennial, an early millennial, a latter boomer. Anyhow, cusp. I am cusp, basically. I'm a boomer, but people say I act more like a millennial. I think we share a lot in common. People born in the 60s in general. I was born in the early 60s, and I think millennials started in 64. Anyhow, I digress. What we all have in common, though, is many people in my generation, and I can think of my own particular peers, had the same job for the majority of their career. One job, or they changed their job twice. Prior to about the age of 57, I worked in the same work situation for 30 years. And that seems very typical with people in my generation. That impacts also why they might not have a beard. They started out in a career with a certain look, and they tend to keep that look. This is not typical of our generation, though. This is typical of almost every generation. You will maintain a look, for the most part, in your prime. So anywhere between 18 and 28, a lot of people will develop a personal look, a personal style, and continue to hang on to it for the rest of their lives. That's why you see a lot of guys who are in their late 50s through mid 60s without facial hair, because they grew up and came to age at a time where guys did not have facial hair. And that was very typical of my generation. Mustaches were maybe there, but for the most part, guys were smooth face, they shaved. And that is evident in my own peer group. All of my friends, no facial hair. And all of their women like them with no facial hair. We'll talk about that in a moment. So what do you need to know about having a beard in retirement? You have never had a beard? Yeah, you might have let it grow out for a little bit, but you always shaved it. You had that vacation beard, you had a holiday beard, but you always ended up shaving it because your look is to be smooth-faced. You're growing your beard for the first time. What do you need to know? Let's talk about it. Some basic stuff. How long does it take to grow a beard? We've talked about that a lot on this channel. It takes as long as you want your beard. So a lot of guys are very content to have a stubble beard, very popular with young people. A lot of people and a lot of women prefer guys with that stubble beard. Let's call that a 2-week growth. Anything beyond 2 weeks, I consider a beard. So do you want a 1-month beard, a 2-month beard, a 3-month beard? So how much does your hair grow in the course of a month? It grows at about the same rate as your head hair, which is ½ an inch a month. So your hair is going to grow. If you stop shaving, which you probably have been doing for the past 35, 40, 45 years, you stop shaving, you realize that your hair will come in at about ½ an inch a month. So if you want coverage like I have on my face, you are looking at least a 3-month period of time in order to grow what I consider an executive beard. So you're going to grow your hair. What are some of the basics? If you know anything about me, I am a guy, so if you're growing your first beard, I just say let it go. Give enough time on your face, 60 to 90 days, without cutting and trimming. So a lot of guys say, I can't do that. I have to go to work. I can't be shaggy looking on the neck. You're in retirement now. You can be as shaggy looking as you want. This is the perfect opportunity to grow your beard for 90 days and see what is on your face. Like my peers, I honestly have friends who have never, well, maybe not since they were young, let their facial hair come in. They have no idea what the coverage is now, being later in life, but they also have no complete understanding of the coloring in their beard. And at this point, for a lot of guys, it might be gray. So I say, let it go 60 days. Let it go 90 days without cutting and trimming so you can actually see what is on your face. Once you take that 60 days, 90 days, and you see what you're actually cultivating on your face, you might decide at that point that it's time to trim. And so what are some of the basics with trimming? I say first thing first, you probably have a barber. Is your barber skilled at cutting your beard? Hopefully they are, so you can ask your barber to help you trimming your new beard. I am a guy who trims my own beard, and I do it quite frequently, sometimes once a week, every 2 weeks. But if you have never trimmed your beard, you might have to ramp up to that skill. You can get a lot of information on our own channel. We have made a ton of videos. I personally have made a ton of videos, Carlos also, as well as Eric, on how to trim your beard. You're not going to be comfortable with that on day one, the first time you go out to trim your beard. So having a barber help you is a good thing. Some of the key things in trimming your beard is to be more conservative the first time you go out for a beard trim. The areas on your face that you are going to attack in terms of a trim, you can actually see in this 101 video that I made before, just the basics of beard trimming. But some of the things you want to keep an eye on are, what is the total length of beard that you want? You might have let it grow from 60 days or 90 days. Is that the length you want? You might want more. Don't trim the length then. If you want to maintain that length, just trim that up, make it nice and even. If you want to go shorter, that's the time to do it. So length. You're also going to be looking at the cheeks on your beard. I suggest also in this first trim, when you go to a barber, not to go too far down. So keep your cheeks fairly high, fairly natural, and just come down a little bit. You can decide later that, hey, I want them lower. You can do that yourself at home by shaving. You've been accustomed to shaving for the past 50 years, probably 40 years. You can do that yourself. But in terms of getting the shape of a line, the barber might be best to do that. You can wait a month, go back to the barber, and have them lower the line if possible. So length, cheeks, and then neck. Neck is something that is polarizing for some people. A lot of people do not like to see a lot of hair on the neck. I know a lot of guys who don't have naturally a lot of hair on their neck. It is up to you whether you keep a lot of hair on your neck. If you are ultimately going to grow your beard longer, I say don't even bother trimming your neck hair, because in short order, for every ½ an inch, in 4 months, your beard is going to be 2 inches longer, and it is, for the most part, going to cover up your neck hair. So why even bother it? That neck hair can contribute to the thickness of a beard overall. So those are the basics. You're going to think about length, and that also goes with the mustache. You're going to think about your cheek lines, and you're going to think about your neck lines. That's the basic. So what do you need to do that if you were going to decide to do that at your house, or do that by yourself? I think every guy growing their first beard, especially in retirement, needs 3 basic products. You need a comb, you need a scissor, and you need a beard brush. Of course, here at Beardbrand, we have all of those items, but those are the basics, what you need. Even if you go to a barber, you may want to trim a hair that you see, or a random hair that sticks out on your mustache that the barber didn't get. You may want to start practicing on yourself. Having a comb and a scissor will allow you to start doing that. As I said before, go back and look at many of our videos where we talk about the basics of trimming. From my primer video to other videos that I've made over the course of the years, there is a plethora of information on our channel on how you can trim your beard. So that's the basics you need in tools. You need a comb, a scissor, and a beard brush. Beard brush is great because what you can expect when you're growing a new beard, especially within the first month, you may encounter the itch. So any guy growing their first beard after shaving pretty consistently is going to encounter some amount of itch. A lot of that itch has to do with new hair follicles breaking through the skin. A lot of it has to do with the fact that you might have been shaving and sloughing off all of this skin on your face over daily, where you won't be doing that as much. So there may be a buildup of dead skin cells on your face. That can also contribute to itch. So all of those things can be alleviated by time. Almost everything, all itch goes away within 4 weeks. So bear with it. but also having a beard brush will allow you to comb through your beard and getting that loose skin that is on your face. Basics as far as cleanliness in your beard. A lot of guys will continue to wash their beard, wash their face daily. If you are a daily showerer, you have been accustomed to washing your face daily. You may continue to do that with a beard, especially a new beard. That will also help to eliminate itch on the face also by getting rid of some of that loose skin that is naturally flaking off, as opposed to exfoliating it previously with a razor blade. So that'll help to eliminate that also. So some of the basics for beard products: you're going to want a beard wash and possibly a beard softener. A lot of guys don't know the texture, don't know how their beards will feel until it grows in a little bit. So initially get a beard wash. Utility bar also works as a wash for your beard, as well as your face and your hair. A beard wash, in our case, our utility wash. You can do your hair, your face, as well as your beard, and you may be already using our product on your hair. You can also use it on your face. And then a softener comes in later when you say, hey, more control. I want to add some softness to my beard, and I can do that by using the utility softener. So that's it with products. So as far as control, what are you going to do to control your beard? As you know, I have been a proponent of a hairdryer technique in order to keep my beard in control. As my beard is shorter now, I don't rely on it as much as I used to when my beard was longer. So with your initial beard, you may not have much grooming to do. And so you can take care of some of the itch on your face by using utility balm as well as our utility oil. That can also not only help you smell good, it can add a light amount of control, but it also can control some of the itch associated with an early beard. And then down the road a little bit, as your beard comes in, you will see if it is a beard that tends to stick out, a beard that curls up, and you can look at a lot of our videos where we talk about how to groom and how to control flyaway hairs in your beard. Never cutting, please. Don't cut those hairs. Don't be tempted. Tuck them in. Learn to control them. But also using our styling products, our styling balm, in order to control your beard a little more. Think of it as a hair gel for your beard. Using our products will allow you to be able to control, to get some of those flyaways tucked in, and it's a great way to do that. So as far as the products on your face, on your beard itself, you have your option for utility oil, utility balm, or our styling paste. So styling paste, I love the styling paste. More advanced, you might get into sea salt spray in the future, but for now, that's all you need. I would start with an oil, and then later on down the road, as your beard gets a little longer, add the styling paste in order to control some of the flyaways that you have in your beard. Gray hair has a general different texture than your pigmented hair. A lot of people will say that their beards are more coarse or more wiry. I've found that you might have random hairs that have a different curl pattern than their associated hairs, or that the hair had when it was pigmented. You will see that a lot. And so you may get more flyaway hairs, all the more reason to be using styling paste in order to control that. One of the things to be looking out for in your retirement beard, you have dark hair when you were younger, whether it be blonde through black. As it goes gray, for the most part, most people will have a tinge of yellow to their beard, and that is your hair holding on to the pigment that's still in it. A lot of hair will go gray overnight, but it will still have this cast of the previous pigment, very minute traces of it, which will often come off as yellow. What can also contribute to a yellow cast on your beard is if you are a smoker, pipe or any kind of tobacco, that kind of smoke can cause a yellow cast on your face, especially around your mouth, and also food. You don't get permanent staining typically from food, but if you are a coffee drinker, if you are eating pasta or red sauce, you may have the cast of that on your beard, so pay attention to that. I'll talk about that in a second. So what I do, I use a purple or blue shampoo. We have made some videos about that. And what they do is, in color theory, yellow, the complementary color of yellow is purple. And so when you combine the two, the yellow in your beard with the purple in the shampoo, it actually neutralizes that and can make your hair, your beard look cleaner, clearer and brighter than it would with the yellow undertone. So keep in mind that you have the options to use, say, even a conditioner. So maybe you want to use a utility wash or a utility bar to clean your hair. And then if you have a yellow cast that you want to get rid of, you can use a purple conditioner to mitigate some of that yellow color. I think I want to talk in a greater, it comes up a lot. You may have comments that come from people. You have always been shaved. You've rarely had a beard, and now in retirement, kind of like David Letterman growing a beard in retirement, he suddenly went from a clean-shaved guy, a smooth face, to this massive beard. People are going to comment. And the human nature, people are just going to give their opinions whether you solicit them or not. So it is going to come up. And they may come up from your friends, your peers, your previous co-workers, if you happen to run into them. What has happened to you that suddenly you're growing a beard? I got a bit of that myself. I've had a beard now or facial hair for almost 10 years. But initially, when I was in my mid-50s growing a beard, I got a lot of comments from the people I know. Social media seems to be different. I got nothing but positive comments. If I was getting any negative comments, it was from the people I know. And you have to be true to yourself, of course, but one of those comments might be coming from your spouse. So I want to bring in a special guest, and we will finish this video with a spouse and getting her opinion on how to best navigate growing that retirement beard when you have a loved one. Hey, we're back, and we're joined by
Mary Berzinsky.
Yes, this is Mrs. Berzinsky. You might have seen her in a couple of the other videos. I brought her on because part of having a beard in retirement may involve some negotiation with a spouse. A lot of times guys who previously never had a beard and then suddenly have a beard, you're going to get feedback from peers, but you may also get them from a spouse. And I want to talk to Mary, about the implications of growing that retirement beard. So Mary, you have some experience with this.
Yes, I do.
Not so much in retirement. Let's call it semi-retirement. Let's call it change of career. But forever, I always was pretty much smooth-faced. Yes, there is a lot of history of me growing beards for small periods of time, never more than 2 or 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden, I decided to grow a beard about 8 years ago, and it stuck. So what advice would you give to spouses whose husbands suddenly grow a retirement beard?
I would allow them to try. I think it's...
Thank you for allowing me.
Patience. I think the initial start is challenging for everyone. It's a visual thing, and then there's a texture part of it, and it takes several weeks for that to all happen. So I think you just have to be patient. And
so with texture, you mean it doesn't feel good?
Right. Yeah,
doesn't
it's
feel
very
good
rough.
to the spouse. I don't think a lot of guys realize that. You may have touched your own beard stubble and realize, hey, that's pretty scratchy. But if you are going to have physical contact with a spouse, and it could be jarring at times. I think the worst is probably day 2, but it could last for up to a week or even 2 weeks where your beard feels particularly coarse. What if you're a person who just prefers no beard? What advice would you give to the ladies out there?
That would be initially me. I grew up with men that did not have beards. So
your father in particular,
yeah.
You can see here, he was and still is the quintessential Marine. Her father was smooth-faced and still to this day shaves every day. like gets up in the morning, does the routine of shaving, gets his hair cut very regularly. It's part of almost a regimen that he does. But that's what you grew up with. And that's going to be, I think, a lot of people in my generation where they did not have hair on their faces, and then all of a sudden you spring on a spouse that I want to have a beard. It could be jarring. So, growing up with that experience, it probably primed you for liking guys who have smooth faces.
Yeah, because that was what you were used to visually. And even I think of, we didn't even know anybody that had mustache. I mean, there was like no facial hair at all. So it was very clean.
My dad was a little different. He grew a mustache on my mother's prompting. My dad grew a mustache in about 1970 after seeing Dr. Zhivago and seeing Omar Sharif with a mustache. My mother said, "Wow, I like that." My dad grew one and kept it till the day he died for my mom. So what would you say if there is some disagreement between you really hate it? What would you recommend?
I mean, coming up with maybe a length that, negotiating, maybe a length that works for both of you. The thing I would say is, which we've discovered with, Greg growing out his beard, is it took a while because he had some patches where there wasn't any hair really there at all. So it may take a little bit longer than, you would think. So you have to wait several months, and then you may have to negotiate length and decide, what's appropriate for both.
Right. Like I said before, in growing your beard and doing that 60 to 90 days, it's also important for a partner and for your spouse to also get through a period of time, because they may look at you at 30 days and say, well, I don't like that, or that doesn't look good. Whereas at 60 days, at 90 days, hey, that filled in. I think of older gentlemen like, someone like Sean Connery, who in his youth was smooth-faced and became known in his elderly years for having a beard. So a lot of times these older beards, it just might take some getting used to for your family, your peers, but also for your spouse in particular. So it's good to hear. I mean, Mary has gotten used to it, I think. I don't know if you can imagine me without it at this point. I don't know if it would visually be a preference at this point.
I mean, it's been several years now, so there's definitely, a look. The other thing that has changed, in your look over the last several years is, when Greg and I got married, he had dark hair, and you can see he's transitioned into a silver fox. So we've had to, that's been an adjustment. So I think, you can see that his beard is even lighter than his mustache, so there's kind of a salt and pepper thing going in his mustache.
I think a lot of spouses, something to keep in mind, and maybe not to be so direct or indirect, it's just like people's looks change, and a lot of times you can't hold on to the look that you had when you were 20, 30, 40, nor should you. And to have a memory of that and saying that's the best look for you always. And in reality, my silver hair is the perfect look for me now. And I think I look better older because of, jaw development and recession, basically. And I think a lot of older guys actually look better with beards. If you take a look around, you'll see some of your older friends, older peers, older celebrities, and there is a significant amount of loose skin that might happen at neck. When people think in general of like, oh, guys age like fine wine, they look better, they're probably not looking at that neck. And I think for a lot, if you think of George Clooney growing a beard, I think in a lot of ways it can actually improve a guy's look, because not only are you giving a guy that superhero jaw, but you're also putting a lot of attention on the face, on the upper face, especially the eyes. And everything I've read, that women, it's the first thing they look at on a guy is their eyes. And so if it's drawing attention to the eyes, I think it's a win-win for everyone. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, sure. It's great to be here.
Mary and I ran into Eric in Fort Lauderdale, of all places, like in the street, which was so funny. I'm walking down the street wearing a tank top and linen pants, and here comes this guy in a leather jacket with like corduroys on, and I'm thinking, who is this crazy dude? ends up being Eric, and Mary and I ended up having dinner together. She has seen Eric on calls. She has heard me talk to him. She knows Eric, but it's actually the first time
It's the first time we met in person, which was great.
It was a lot of fun. So, anyhow, thanks, Mary, for coming on. And if you have any questions below on negotiating a beard with a spouse, please write them down. We'll see if we can answer those for you collectively. But also related to retirement beards, is this your first beard? Is this the first time that you were growing some facial hair? Significant facial hair. I think everyone has some experience with growing something. And you're looking forward to those retirement years where maybe you are you looking forward to those retirement years where you enter the land of the beardo? Comment below. Always interested in reading your comments. Until we meet again.